Okay, discussion on on-call pay package.
Anyway, I'll start it off here. We've had an on-call pay system, I believe goes back to the mid-90s. And it works okay, nobody's really complaining about or anything, but as you can see from the information you have in your packet, we have about $10 a day for on-call. And this just affects the departments that are on and receive on-call pay, doesn't affect everybody. For instance, the police that do not get on-call standby pay or any of that sort, so it's mainly gonna be your utilities, parks and rec, and those types of folks like that. When they're on-call, they get a pretty minimal amount, and what we're doing here is proposing to increase that, basically, sort of, if you look at this, it kind of doubles what you get. I guess, mainly, this is coming from Ron Smorleader's department here on the electric side. He did provide here some information from other cities and systems that do provide on-call, and some local. We didn't name them because they didn't want people to know exactly what they were paying their people or whatever, so we're respecting that privacy on that part. But they did give us the information on how they do it. I'm not sure it's really all that helpful for you though, because when you look at it, everybody has on-call pay or call-out pay differently. There's no set way to do that, which is kind of what I expected. Anytime we search out information like this in a survey, what comes back is a response that really doesn't match what we do exactly. There's all kinds of different, and that's basically because there is no set way to do this. Everybody compensates a little bit differently, and they're on call for different reasons sometimes, and it's all over the map. So it's kind of, we're looking at our budget, we could withstand either this year, or if we wanted to approach this next year, we'll get into the budget here in June, July, and August this year. So if we wanted to build it in for the next year, that's fine too. It's not a crisis, it's just one of these things that we kind of noticed hadn't been addressed in a long time, like some other policies that we're looking at lately. And it just thought it'd be something we could at least talk about in work session and see what your ideas, what your comfort level was as far as adjusting on-call, callback pay, that sort of thing like that, so.
I had a couple of questions. Lynn, as far as who's on call, does everybody take their turn on call, and are they
Yeah.
capable of handling any problem that's out there?
Well, not every department. It is rotated. Typically, people will take a week on call as they come up. But there are some folks in some departments which can't handle everything that would come up, so they would have to call in somebody else to help them out in an emergency situation.
So then we'd have two people on call.
Well, no, you have one person on call, but
But if you couldn't handle it, you'd have to bring it
you've
over.
got to bring in somebody else, yeah.
So why put the one that can't handle it on call?
Well, because they like to rotate it, and you have to get people into that, so.
Yeah, but if you can't handle it, why have him on call?
I know, it's gonna be your first contact over somebody. Because basically what you're saying is somebody's.
But he's getting paid to do something he can't do.
Well, not ever, I mean, they may be able to do 90% of it, but, and we have some people who are still, early in their training, so, and we have them on call.
How's that training going anyway?
As far as.
What about their?
The certification training you're talking about, like for.
Well, like your power plant.
Yeah, they're a little behind where we'd like them to be at this point. It hasn't gone as quickly as what we thought it would go on that, so they're behind that certification on that. So, but that would be an example of somebody at power plant who hasn't been there very long, but still on call, would have to, if there was a black start situation, they would have to call somebody to help them out with that.
Well, the reason I ask is and I discussed some of this with Ronnie about different ways of doing it, whether you go for their salary or whatever, it's like I explained to him. If you got a guy that's getting paid to sit on his tail at home, they're all doing the same thing. Now, if they get called out, they get overtime anyway.
We do,
So,
right.
whatever we do dollar-wise, I would prefer to see them all get the same on-call.
No matter what.
Since they're getting called out, they get paid overtime
Right.
anyway at their salary rate.
Right.
So-
See from that information, there were, some people will pay you whatever or they pay a flat rate or whatever it is. So there's no set way to do it, so.
Okay, explain that again, Bob.
Well, if you got one guy that can do everything and one guy that can, if they're just sitting home by the phone, they're both doing the same thing, you know. But if they get called out, the guy that's on call gets overtime. So basically, if they don't get called out, they're gonna get different amounts paid for just sitting by the phone, well, just for being on call. But I don't have a problem with, if a guy gets called out and he gets overtime, getting his rate of pay. But if you got another guy that can't do all the jobs, but he's still getting paid for standby, they're still doing the same thing, unless they're on the phone. So.
Tom, could I make a
Are you
statement?
So they get their pay, plus, they get their overtime if they come out, plus they
But
on
yeah,
call.
yeah, if you're on call, you get that per day. You get a flat number. Whether you're called out or not, you're gonna get that. But if you are called out, you never pay your overtime pay. I mean, that's.
So right now, they get the $50 or the $10 a day.
$10 a day, right.
They're over.
Right. And that's been the same way since apparently the mid-90s is the last time we had this.
That's, well, look through the comparisons here, that's not any much better or worse than a lot of these other people are doing.
No, it isn't. I say it's not a crisis or anything. It's just, it's something that we need to look at because we tend to put these things off 20, 30, 40, sometimes longer. And then all of a sudden you're going, hey, we need to adjust, at some point, and you're looking at a bigger leap in something like this. I'd rather not do that.
And I don't particularly have a problem with what the standby is. My thinking is that everybody ought to get the same for standby, because you're all doing the same thing. You're just sitting by the phone,
All right.
don't need any training. And if you get called out, then you get,
Right.
but,
They are.
Aren't they currently getting the same?
You do currently now.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, but, yeah, you're confusing me and
Well,
Ken here was sitting,
but Ronnie's looking at some different options.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have different ways to, look at it. You could.
Do all departments not have somebody on call?
Well, when you're in administration, or have an official on call.
Well, he's got a list of their departments where the employees call.
Well, he has sewer, but he doesn't have water. Do they have somebody in water on call, or is it
The water and sewer, they're a backup for electric. What I was gonna do, down there on the electric and water, we always have a backup for someone to go out. Because if you got someone working on electric at night, they need somebody out there to either call, get them out of trouble. And what we do, we use a water or sewer guy as a backup for electric, okay? And if the water or sewer guy, if they got a problem, they're using an electric guy as a backup. So they're kind of combined there, because we used to cross-train a lot with that.
Okay,
And
what about the electric, water, and sewer plants?
the electric don't have, they just have one guy that's covering it. The sewer has one, and what I understood, water didn't have a guy on standby.
Well, I don't think that anybody on the sewer crew at your shop or the electric crew at your shop know how to operate either one of those two plants.
Probably not.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the only one that doesn't have one is the water plant itself.
And they're not, as far as I know, trying to cross-train to learn any skills at those facilities.
Well, they haven't, no. The only cross-train is
So what
one's down there
happens?
on us.
So what happens when one of those utilities go down?
Well, there's a guy on call for the sewer plant and one for the power plant. The water plant don't have one, so I'm not sure what.
What are they gonna do if they don't know how to operate that plant, though? That's what I'm saying.
Well, they're gonna have to call somebody out that does know.
Sure.
Now you're paying more people more money. I don't see changing it, that's my personal opinion.
Let's some of the rest of your supply.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we can slice it and if you can stand pat, you can.
Well, like I said, I don't have a problem if we want to increase it. And Tony, I misled you there. Oh, they do get the same thing now.
Yeah, right now you do get the
But
same.
Ronnie had given us different scenarios from different cities as to how they pay it out. But I think the only thing we're looking at is we're paying somebody for standby and he can't handle the job, then I don't know. We should be paying for standby. Do we have enough people
No,
to
see,
take
look-
standby? that-
Right, see, that'd be the limitation in a smaller department, you're gonna have the same couple of guys on standby all the time, and that begins to wear down.
Well, are they not anyway?
Yeah.
Because they almost have to be on call.
Right, but they aren't officially, they're not getting paid for it, but they, are not gonna be far away.
Okay, if the person that's on call cannot handle something that goes down, he's gonna have to call somebody else who can.
And it's usually
So then we're paying 2 people overtime instead of 1 if they can handle it.
And they have to hope they can get a hold of somebody.
Yes.
Right.
If
I mean,
if they're not in
if
town on
somebody else
call.
is not in town on a weekend that can
Right.
handle that, then what are they gonna
And that happened, but, yeah, I mean, it could, those things
do? I
could
mean,
happen.
worst case scenario. I mean, so do we, if a person can't handle the situation that would come up, I mean, I realize it's gonna be probably pretty stressful, and if there's only 2 people within a department that could handle everything, and they're on call every other weekend, but somehow we've gotta get the guys trained to where they can do everything, if they're gonna be on call.
Because it doesn't seem right to me to have this guy on call that can't handle it. He's gonna get paid for not being able to handle it. It doesn't make sense. It sounds like we need to ramp up our training.
Right, well, and that goes with it, but we're trying to make it a little more of an incentive to, to do that. But yeah, but we have lost people and,
Having the job is not enough incentive.
well.
I'm sorry, this is the way I.
Thank you, I'm on call all the time. Maybe I didn't know it works for such a hard case, but I don't get an incentive pay to be on call. But I'm not here to take away, but I don't see that we're out of line with any,
What's our liability to have people that's on call and these things that can't do it if nobody else is around? Is there any liability there?
There's any liability to that. Yeah. You don't want to make that mistake. But anyway, that's a discussion we were hoping to have with this, if there was any reason to move forward one way or the other on it. I mean, it's just, I said, it's not a crisis situation or anything like that. It's just,
I think, to me, this really
address.
shows the importance of having people cross-trained.
Well,
Step
yeah,
up
there's no question about
To
that.
do these things, hope like it could never happen, but if it does, then you have those situations.
Well, I mean, we've been, I think, in some senses lucky, but in some senses, we have people who are generally in the area. So even if you're not on call, most of our folks aren't.
I mean, to me, it's really not fair to have somebody on call and paying them extra if they can't do it, and then we have to call somebody who is trained.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's not fair, as far as paying someone the same amount who can't do the job versus someone who can. And we're giving them extra dollars to do it.
Well, I know, when I worked for the phone company, they didn't put you on call unless you were trained.
I think it's something we probably need to continue looking at.
Yeah.
I have one other thing. While I was doing some research on this, I happened to remember and think about it. Are we intending to look at cost of living adjustments for this year?
Sure. Yeah.
Is it not time to do that?
I thought we did it in January.
Usually in April, because that's when the numbers come out for cost of living, if I remember right.
I think we.
Like the 20th
yeah,
of
but I think-
April.
Right, but I believe what we did though was match it up with where their fiscal year starting, which was in June. We used to do that in the springtime, for whatever reason, but I think we actually last year switched that to where the fiscal year begins. Could be wrong about it, but I know we at least had that discussion, yeah.
Okay, another thing to follow.
Yeah. But yes.
I think
also-
we need to continue.
And just so everybody knows, I did some calculations, and we got going to 47,800 for on-call pay, and a 2.5% increase for everybody in the city is only 62,000.
Maybe as much for on-call as it is. Well, you gotta have people available, this industry break in our situation.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly need to have, folks on call, no question about it.
So I think we need to continue to look at this.
Okay. Yeah, so the opening discussion of this as we go forward. Okay, see what we can do. Well, anyway, that's it. Is there any more questions?
Okay, thank you. We'll stand adjourned. Everyone have a nice Memorial weekend. Be safe.
So the second meeting,
Oh, yeah.
I guess, thank you for your
Hey.